Hi, it's Nishi. Hope you're having a really good day. And in today's video, what I want to talk about is what payment terms are worth to your customers. So what are payment terms? It's when you do some work and then you send a customer an invoice and then you say to them, hey, don't worry about paying right now, pay it in 30 days, pay it in 60 days, or if they insist, pay it in 90 days. And the reason I want to cover this today is because if you, as a business, really understand what the value in those payment terms is to your customer, you can then adjust your pricing accordingly, or even offer them an appropriate level of discount to get them to pay on time. So it's really important to understand it rather than just making up early settlement discounts or just randomly putting an amount into your pricing to cover something you haven't really calculated. So the starting point of understanding what payment terms are worth to your customers is to really look at the going rate of commercial interest. So by that I mean, well, if you as an individual went to the bank, you'd get a much lower rate than if your company went to the bank. And at the moment, the going rate of interest might be about 16% for a small business in terms of borrowing from like a commercial finance broker or a bank, and that's 16% APR per year. But on top of that, you've got to factor in like your customers, they're not giving you direct guarantees most of the time. You're taking a lot more risk. So actually your rate of borrowing might be closer to an overdraft, which could be 25%, 30%. In terms of what you're actually offering them. So when you understand that, then let's say the APR amount that customer is saving because of the facility you're giving them to actually delay payment, it could be, let's say it's worth 20% APR to them. Then essentially what you've then got to do is look at the payment terms you got and work out what proportion of a year that is, so you know that what proportion of that APR it's worth. So let's say you've got 90-day payment terms, which is loosely 3 months, which is a quarter of a year. Well, then what you do is then take a quarter of that 20% APR interest rate that your customer would pay otherwise, and you would say, okay, well, this arrangement I've got with the customer is worth 5% of every invoice. So the interest that they're essentially saving is worth 5% of whatever their invoice is. So if it's £10,000, then that's worth £500 to them essentially. So it's definitely worth factoring that in, because then if you want to get them to pay early, for example, you might offer them a £500 discount, or you might just make sure, well, actually, this is part of the value we add, so let's make sure that our pricing covers that over and above everything else you've costed. So that's how you work out what your payment terms are worth to your customers, and it's a really important one to do whenever you're working out pricing and deals with those customers. Thanks for watching. If you've got questions about this or any of my other videos, just get in touch. I'd be happy to talk to you about your own business. I'll see you at the next video.